Bob Iger dropped massive news on the shareholders call. They now have a picture of what they think they might inspire their Avatar land after. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an avid collector of pictures. And here with me is Mr. Vash Sky. Vash, how you doing today?
I am doing just fine right here, and I guess we have one more picture to add to our growing collection of things that may or may not ever come true. So in that case, I'm doing, I guess, the same as always.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get into it. But for the people who don't happen to know exactly what we're talking about here, breaking Disney shares first look at concept art for Avatar Experience coming to Disneyland. This from Britt Tuttle of Disneyland News Today. Right there it is. This Moana. Oh wait. No, this is Avatar. How do we know it's Avatar? Even though it looks like Moana, I don't know. This could be Avatar. This could be Moana. But whatever. Let's move on there. A little sarcasm for you. During Disney's 2024 annual meeting of shareholders, CEO Bob Iger shared a new concept image for the future presence of Avatar at Disneyland Resort. Let's get to the quote. Where does he say it? No. They don't even say it. They don't even say that this is actual concept art. They say that this is the inspiration that they're going from this for inspiration about what they are going to design for an Avatar experience somewhere at Disneyland Resort. They haven't even said it's a land, but this looks like a land to me. Vash, please explain to me what's going on with all of your theme park knowledge. Is this madness?
It's a little madness. They're calling it creative inspiration, and some people, I think Fresh Baked and a couple of others, were like, what is that? Blue Sky? Is that beyond Blue Sky? Is that before Blue Sky? I don't even know where we are in the development process. And to be fair, I don't quite know where we are either. This artwork, as beautiful as it is, yes, it is evocative of Moana for sure.
This is great.
You can see some rings there that are definitely of Pandoran make there, but the boat ride right there, that is very, very interesting, because as I was talking to the esteemed theme park wizard, who we've been tracking this for quite some time now, and we'll get into how deep this rabbit hole goes. The rumors that were recently revealed, I believe by a couple of sources, including Mice Chat, suggested that they were looking at maybe implementing a boat ride utilizing Shanghai's version of Pirates of the Caribbean's ride technology. For those who aren't familiar, the boat technology that's used in Shanghai is different from your normal boat experience that you would find in Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, and so forth. Because
vastly
it's
different.
very, very different. Yes, it's almost like a vehicle that's on a track, but that happens to be embedded in water, and so that allows for plenty of things like distinct timing elements. You can actually, forward this boat in front of a screen. You can have it actually back up. It is quite the marvel right there, and so this looks to be what is implemented here. So does it necessarily give it credence to the rumors? Possibly, for sure. But we know one thing, Jonas. We know that it's not going to be at Disneyland Park. This coming out of Scott Guston on April 2nd. Disneyland Resort is planning to replace the pure gas engines used on Autopia cars in the next few years, Disneyland officials confirmed to the LA Times. So since the opening with Disneyland Park in 1955, Autopia has remained a guest favorite, most popular with young kids experiencing driving for the first time. Indeed, when this attraction opened in 1955, it was the top 3 when ranked attraction, next to, I believe, Peter Pan and the Disneyland Railroad, interestingly enough. And it held that status for quite some time. So it's not only part of the unique history of Disneyland Resort, but it is very, very popular. And so it kind of makes sense that they would want to update this attraction, especially as California is moving to ban gas-powered generators, small gas-powered engines, and so forth. You can see more stringent standards in 2024. This article was written, I believe, in 2021 here by RV Miles. So, yeah, apparently they have been working on this for quite some time. So, in effect, with Autopia still being on the table, it removes necessarily that plot that Avatar, if implemented in Disneyland, would have occupied. So that's
You're saying that the rumor that was going around, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that
right.
Autopia might have been going away in order to make way for the Avatar experience
Correct.
at Disneyland. Because at Walt Disney World, it's at Animal Kingdom. They have so much space at Walt Disney World, they don't even know what to do with all of that space. In fact, they talk about how they could build 7 lands or something over there. It's a ridiculous number, and it's such a high, it's incomprehensible. And I think that is probably why it didn't really land with the audience. But you're saying that they would have put Pandora here?
Yes.
Or so whatever land it would be?
Yeah, a Avatar experience is what they were referring to as. If you see on the map here, you can see that this area is just north of the old Carousel Progress building and what is now Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. If you were to get rid of Autopia and everything north of that, that includes a submarine voyage, maybe a reroute of the monorail track, and also the motorboat cruise. That affords you about 8 acres, which would have been a little bit smaller than Pandora at Florida, but you could reasonably foresee how that would work in this space. Apparently, with
now for those of you,
please,
sorry, with those of you who don't speak Disneyland, who have only experienced Walt Disney World, we're talking about the Tomorrowland Speedway and Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Yeah, exactly. That's the conversion there for sure. So you could reasonably see how that could work. I've also heard concepts where maybe they would take over all of Tomorrowland itself and then convert some of the existing structures to be more Pandoran in nature right there. It doesn't look like that's going to actually happen. So if Avatar, if this concept right here, which looks pretty sizable, if in fact this is what we're getting, not entirely convinced of that, if this is what is coming, where could this possibly show up? Well, this is interesting because recently Disneyland just got approval, at least from the Anaheim City Planning Commission, on Disneyland Forward, the big rezoning project that allows them to build out the areas that they already own in the way that they want. Now, it still has one more vote with the City Council, and they are saying, we are excited about the stories our guests could experience at Walt's original theme park destination after approval of Disneyland Forward, including the chance to experience all new Avatar adventures with a visit to Pandora. This is Josh DiMauro saying this. They are leveraging this for the vote that is upcoming in mid-April in order to see it through. So they're saying, hey, we got Avatar coming. If you just give us what we want, we'll get you some Pandora. That is what's going on right there.
I see.
They've done this before, for sure.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, please.
So then, is this something that, do you think that, of course, there are all kinds of concepts that exist in the Walt Disney Imagineering vaults that will never see the light of day, where they consider one option over another. Famously, they talked about a Toy Story marionette to replace the Country Bear Jamboree. I'm sure there's sketches of that somewhere. If it got to the point where the rumors got out and a certain man from another outlet got very upset and caused a ruckus about it. So is it possible that they actually were intending on putting Avatar there as a plan B to not getting Disneyland Forward approved?
I will, it's really interesting you say this because recently it was revealed that Scott Trowbridge is part of this. This is via his Instagram. Scott Trowbridge being the once Universal creative that worked on Islands of Adventure and the original Wizarding World of Harry Potter in 2010 until he was hired by Disney and assigned to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge project. It is revealed here that at today's Disney shareholder meeting, Bob Iger shared, quote, "Our Imagineers have been hard at work dreaming up what guests might expect. With a possible Disneyland Avatar experience, yes, we are excited to share more in the future." This is crucial to your question here, Jonas, because in 2022, he put out a very puzzling tweet suggesting that he was at work reimagining this area that we were talking about. It does seem that at one point in time they may have been considering this area for the Avatar experience, but now with Disneyland Forward and so forth, that may have changed. And well, if Disneyland Forward doesn't get approved, that may be altered yet again.
But this is used to be a launch bay for a ride, correct?
Yes, this was the old motorboat cruise dock. It used to be in little boats similar to Autopia, but on water, and you would travel these winding paths right here in your own boat that you would power yourself. Very very interesting little piece of Disneyland history. But for ever since that attraction went down, I want to say in the early 90s, this area really hasn't been utilized, and it's always been seen as another expansion pad for Disneyland. So where would Avatar go if Disneyland Forward were approved? Well, I am glad that I asked this question, I guess. You can see right here, this is the old Eastern Gateway project, which was proposed back in the mid 2010s. Unfortunately, didn't go through because it would have necessarily bypassed the foot traffic along harbor. A lot of businesses got very upset about that, campaign to have this project canceled, and sure enough, it was, at least for the moment. But Disneyland Forward incorporates a lot of these ideas. Which ideas specifically? Well, if you look here, you can see where the bus terminal is relocated across from harbor. Right now, that's on the other side of harbor, just north of DCA. However, if you were to relocate those buses and where they drop in and drop off, that affords you a huge amount of real estate for Hollywood Land and the area north of it. You can kind of see that right here illustrated in this artwork right here. You can see the possible Marvel area, which was going to be where this was the original place where Avengers Campus was going to lie. You can see right here the expansion pad, that kind of scoop kind of shape right there, just north of that. That's the area that we're talking about. And if you were to incorporate all of Hollywood Land,
That's the Darth Vader's future home on it.
yeah.
Roll that back. I need to ask, what was that? Did that say Darth Vader's future home?
Oh,
was that just a reference to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, it might be a reference to Star Wars Galaxy's. This is some old artwork right here. So it was
unfortunately, Darth Vader never ended up going to Galaxy's Edge.
That's very true. That's a good point right there. This is some old artwork. This is just to show you a visual representation of what we were talking about right there. However,
got my hopes up there for a minute.
Well, I do apologize. However, for the Navi's necessarily future home right here, you can see if you incorporate all of Hollywood Land and the area just to the north of this plot that would take up the old bus drop off location, you can see that it affords you about anywhere between 13 to 15 acres, depending on how you grow this out. So that is a tremendous amount of land that one could dedicate to this. To give people an example of how big that is, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is about 14 acres, and that was previously the largest expansion that they had ever undertaken at Disney before that. And Cars Land and Pandora are about 12 acres. So that gives you an idea of how much land we're talking about. But again, though, if they go forward with this, understand, folks, you have to relocate those buses before you can even start construction. So that's maybe a year or two until that actually happens, and then you can actually start this land. So even if they start tomorrow, which we know they're not going to do, we're at least 5 years away from this actually happening.
That's fascinating to me. And of course, Rome was not built in a day, but maybe Avatar Land can be built in 5. But that being said, we want to throw this to the audience. Are you more excited for Autopia getting electric engines or for Avatar Land? I think I know the answer to that. I actually want to know what you think about Avatar Land and whether or not it needs to be done there at Disneyland Forward. Is the Disney company running out of ideas? Do we want a Fantasy Springs more than we want in Avatar Land? Do we want Galaxy's Edge to get away from the Galaxy's Edge and instead go to the Outer Rim and bring in Tatooine? Do you have an idea for this space, or is there something you're really looking forward to seeing? That maybe that new boat technology that's only been at Shanghai Resort. Are you thinking about what that might be like at Disneyland? Let us know in the comment section down below. Of course, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.